That one. Just press that.
Howdy, young man. Good. How are you? Good, good. Yeah, the sooner the better. All right, thanks, brother. Thanks, man. That's just me understanding where you're thinking, or me knowing my place in the pecking order. Ultimately, whoever gets the vote first wins, but it's just fun for me. Eli?
How are you, bud?
It's been a long day, my friend. How about you?
Take care.
Got yelled at about dogs for 8 hours. Dogs,
Rabbits for a while.
Rabbits.
You know, we have lots of rabbits in our backyard.
Yeah, so do I, actually.
You can sell them from your house.
Okay. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'd like to recognize three of my council colleagues here tonight: Councillor Jody Medic, Shad Kadri, and Jan Coutier. Thank you for joining us, folks, and thanks to all of you in the audience for coming out. Before we start, I believe, Chief, we have a ceremonial activity. Leave the phone alone, I suppose.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Since the arrival of cell phones, texting and driving has increased exponentially and is a growing community concern. In fact, in the city of Ottawa alone, 40% of collisions involved distracted driving, resulting in 6,400 injuries and 18 deaths on our city roads in the last 5 years. The Leave the Phone Alone campaign reminds everyone that texting and driving is dangerous and illegal. The Ottawa Police Service officially launched the program in local schools last month, and it is available to educators for both primary and secondary school levels. The goal of the campaign is to educate current and future drivers on the dangers, risks, and consequences associated with distracted driving. I want to commend the efforts of Sergeant Denny Hull, Rob Wilkinson of Safer Roads Ottawa, and Carol McPherson from the Ottawa Police Service, and the rest of his team in delivering this program to our community and contributing to the safety of our roadways. Sergeant Hull and his group have been instrumental in making this program a success in our community by bringing awareness to the dangers of phone use while driving and changing the culture around this practice by all drivers. He's here this afternoon to explain more about the program and offer members of the Police Service Board to take the pledge.
Chiefs of Police, the Police Associations of Ontario, and the Ottawa Police Association. I'm also very proud to state that the Leave the Phone Alone campaign has been supported by our executive as well as our frontline staff. It is a unifying campaign as we all agree that distracted driving is the most significant road safety issue our community faces. What makes this campaign so different is our outreach into local schools with a specific focus on the most vulnerable in our community, our children. We have focused on engaging children, youth, and their parents to make a family commitment to not text and drive. As we all know, one of the most powerful influences in the world is when our children remind us that we're doing something wrong. In front of you is a Leave the Phone Alone information package that you have. Included in that package is a pair of thumb bands. This serves as a visual reminder to drivers not to text and drive. Right now, I would like to invite all members of the Police Service Board to come forward and take the pledge by placing a thumb band on their thumbs and bringing with them the thumbprint. By doing this, you will become champions in our community and promoting the Leave the Phone Alone campaign to a goal of making our roads safer. If you could ask you.
Yeah, you don't want to put those bands on your thumb.
Thank you very much, Sergeant Hall, for your effort. And also, two of our board members cannot be here tonight, is the Vice Chair, Jim Darrow, and Suzanne Velikat will not be able to attend tonight's meeting. So we'll go through our consent agenda, and we'll hold the item we need to hold. So, confirmation of minutes for January 25th, 2016. Okay, thank you. We do have a declaration of interest first, if anyone have. None? Thank you. We do have a public delegation, Crime Prevention Ottawa, and they're going to have a presentation for us tonight, so we'll hold this item A. And on page 3, item number 1, item of business. Item number 1, amendment to procedures bylaw number 3 of 2014. Is the item carried? Thank you. Item number 2, the chief's verbal report, will hold item number 2. Item number 3, bias neutral policing update. And is the item received? And Chief, if I can send a thank you to the staff who organized this event at the Hellenic Community Center. That was a great event. Thank you very much. And I know there's more to come on the other level. So, item number 4, traffic stop, race data collection, project update. Is the item received? Received, thank you. Item number 5, auction proceed. And this is that the Ottawa Police Service Board approved the funding rate through the public auction of found or seized property in accordance with Section 132 of the Police Service Act to be directed to the Police Service Board budget. Is the item carried? Thank you. Item number 6, proposed change to the Highway Traffic Act, color coding, obstructed interior driver's window. And I believe we have 2 letters from the public support on this item, and Member Smallwood have a question. Member Smallwood? Sure, you can ask now if you don't mind.
Yeah, I was just interested in hearing, the officer had mentioned the experience in Quebec, and I just wondered what the experience was elsewhere in Canada with respect to this. I think it's an excellent idea, and I certainly agree with the letters that we received from the public about the importance for pedestrians and bicyclists. And I just wondered, in terms of the experiences elsewhere in Canada, if this was in use.
Mr. Chair, Sergeant Mark Gatien.
Sergeant Gatien, maybe we can take this.
Yeah, he's the expert in this field, and he's one of our leaders that have been advancing this cause for the province. So Sergeant Mark Gatien is the sergeant in traffic unit, and can you repeat the question?
Sure. What I was wondering is that I know that when you gave this information before, you had mentioned in Quebec that it worked very well, and I wondered if there were any other provinces in Canada that use this system, and if you know what the results have been in terms of successful prosecutions.
In fact, sir, in Canada, Quebec is the only province that has the 70% rule with the tint meter. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that Newfoundland, Prince Edward Islands, Nova Scotia, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia, you cannot have any tint whatsoever on the driver's compartment, period.
When you say any tint, is that any aftermarket tint?
Any aftermarket tint.
Okay,
yes.
so the factory tint would be acceptable then, but you can't add anything or change what it comes with?
Into the driver's compartment, that's correct, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. I think it's an excellent idea, particularly for pedestrian and cyclists. They need to make eye contact, and I'm very pleased to see this coming forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Smallwood. Any other question about this item? I think it's a good member attorney.
Mr. Chair, if it's okay to highlight Mark's great work on this, and we also did something in regards to texting in the past as well, where we sent a letter to the province, and I'm glad to say that they've adopted that. More than just money, it's points when it comes to texting, and I see this as a great initiative. Look forward to seeing what comes back out of it, and thank you for your great work on that, Mark.
Thank you, Member Attorney. And thank you, Sergeant, for all your effort. I believe you've been on this for a long time, working with our staff at the City of Ottawa. So on the item? Okay, thank you. Item number 7, the Ontario Association of Police Service Board Annual Conference. I guess there's 2 items here. One, to approve the attendance of myself and the Executive Director to the annual conference, and the other item is endorsing the Chair to stand. As you know, I'm the Vice Chair of the Ontario Association of Police Board Service. So, carried. Thank you. Item number 8, appointment of a Special Constable, Ottawa Police Service nomination. Is carried. Thank you. Item number 9, accessibility plan report. I'm going to hold item number 9 because we do have a speaker who wished to speak to item number 9 on accessibility. Item number 10, workforce management report, 4th quarter. Is the item approved and received? Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Item number 11, financial annual report 2015. That the Ottawa Police Service Board received this report for information. Received. Thank you. Item number 12 is a positive workplace 2015 annual report. And I believe we have a revised report because of the misprint on it. So, received. Thank you very much, folks. Item 13, Swan Promotional Process 2015 annual report. Received. Item number 14, Workplace Injury, Illness and Incidents 2015 Annual Report. Is the item received? Thank you. Item number 15, Outstanding Board Inquiries in Motion, March 2016. The Ottawa Police Service received this report for information. Received. Item number 16, we have letters of commendation. Received. And also we have communication. Now we do have item B with the Provincial Consultation and Amendment to the Police Service Act, and I believe my colleague Smallwood has a motion to move at this point so we can support our colleague from Durham to the Ministry. Member Small, can you read your motion?
That the Ottawa Police Services Board, 1, endorse the letter from Durham Regional Police Services Board Chair to Minister Naqvi dated 25th of February 2016 regarding proposed amendments to the Police Services Act, and 2, direct the Board Chair to write to the Minister expressing the Board's support for the Durham submission.
Okay, on the motion? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Smallwood. Okay, so now we can go to item. Are we doing the crime prevention before the chief? Okay. Okay, we have a public delegation here for crime prevention, Ottawa. We have the presenter is going to be Nancy Rochford, the Executive Director of Crime Prevention, Ottawa. Ikram Jim'a, MLO, Program Manager, Ottawa Community Immigrant Service Organization. And we have Christine McIntosh, Director of John Howard Society of Ottawa. Thank you very much, folks, for being here tonight. And also we have the Chair of Ottawa Crime Prevention, my colleague, Councillor Kadri.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. And we also have the Staff Sergeant in charge of Guns and Gangs, Staff Sergeant Ian McDonnell, with us.
Welcome, sir.
So thank you very much for this opportunity. We were asked to give you a very quick update about intervention services for active, those involved in drug and gang lifestyles. So just to briefly give you a little bit of context.
Sorry, Nancy, we do have, from my colleague, we do have it in your package, the presentation and a hard copy.
Okay. Just to give you a little bit of context, the Ottawa Gang Strategy was approved in 2013. It has 4 pillars: neighborhood cohesion, early prevention, intervention, and enforcement and suppression. There are a total of 11 projects within those 4 different spheres. What we are reporting on today is one of those projects, and it's a very exciting project called Time for Change, and it fits within the intervention pillar of the strategy. As you may recall, in early 2015, the mayor very generously announced funding in the amount of $300,000 to be transferred to Crime Prevention Ottawa to help active gang members leave gang life. Following a discussion and approval from our board of directors, Crime Prevention Ottawa contracted with the John Howard Society of Ottawa and Ottawa Community Immigrant Services to work as delivery partners, working very closely with the Ottawa Police Service to develop the program Time for Change. And I'm happy to have our program partners to describe to you what they've been doing with this exciting program.
Good evening. My name is Christine McIntosh. I work for the John Howard Society. So I'm going to talk just a bit about the last 6 months of the operations with Time for Change. Formerly known as the Gang Exit Strategy, it's now called Time for Change. To put it in a bit of context, the mayor's investment allowed for 3.5 full-time equivalent positions between both agencies, so the team is about 3.5 people. This model is very much dedicated to those individuals who are most affected by gang and drug life, and so it is an extremely intensive program. Individuals that come into our service are given intensive one-to-one support in a variety of areas that speaks to the slide. So there's a number of services and support, and I won't go through all of them individually. But most of the services are extremely intensive given the needs and complexities of the individuals and families in this program.
The slide that's up now speaks to what OCISA is doing with the project. So we provide, in partnership with John Howard, multicultural services to clients who have cultural backgrounds that need the OCISA services. So basically, our approach is really to acknowledge culture and religious needs as part of the healing process for these individuals. And we are also doing community connections. We are holding forums with the community to kind of involve them in the project so they can inform the project. They can tell us what they think the solution is and kind of continuously engage them in the solutions. So far we have held one community forum and there's one more coming up. And it's a very exciting and challenging project. It has multiple elements, and I will stop here with those pieces. Sure. Thank you.
So as Nancy mentioned, the mayor's investment was back in 2015. The team took a few months to get hired and operational, and they've been doing dedicated in-reach and outreach to those affected by this lifestyle for about 6 months now. You'll see that 25 individuals have been identified for Time for Change. That this is through a variety of referral pathways. I think an important thing to highlight is specific to this project, the Time for Change team doesn't wait for individuals to seek them out, if you will. So this project is very much about going to the individuals that are most affected. So individuals that have been recently incarcerated at OCDC, those individuals that are coming out of our provincial and federal institutions. There's a number of referral pathways where community partners are aware of individuals that are affected by this life. So there's been quite a bit of active engagement with these individuals. So you'll see from the slide that there's 18 in service already. We've got more that are currently incarcerated that are in the community. A number of them are in OCDC, like I mentioned, but there is also quite a few that we have on our active caseload, and we're also going to be continuing to do in Reach 2. They're currently serving federal and provincial time, and so reintegration back into the community. They will be coming back into the Ottawa community. So through our halfway houses and other services, we're going to try and do very dedicated and intensive service and support to these individuals to assist them in successfully coming back into the community. You'll also see that we've got about 7 cases that have closed already. A number of them have declined our service. So like I mentioned, we will do engagement directly to individuals, that we don't wait for them to come to us. And so a few have declined service. And there are a small number that were deemed not suitable for the service, mostly in particular to a few that have dangerous offender applications pending. So they'll spend a significant period of time in custody before coming back out in the community. So at this time, we won't be providing service to those individuals. I do want to speak about an innovative component of this project that is in the works. It is a service agreement between the Ottawa Police Services and the John Howard Society. It's a service agreement that's still being worked through with Ottawa Police Services Legal Department. The idea being that a John Howard worker through this project will be seconded to the Guns and Gangs unit on a part-time basis. The purpose of this concept is to allow Guns and Gangs investigators and potentially the drug unit as well to make direct referrals to the John Howard worker. The John Howard worker could then go and do active offers of service. What this does allow is very strategic offers of service during periods in someone's life where there may be more of an opportunity for them to want to move away from this lifestyle. So for example, after a critical injury, our worker could go in and do an offer of service while the individual is in the hospital and provide support and service if they've been recently incarcerated, or if there's other major critical events that are going on in their life that the police officers are aware of. They can refer to John Howard, and John Howard could go and do an offer of service. So this concept is still being worked through in legal, like I said, but hopefully once it's approved, it will allow for a unique partnership that doesn't currently exist. Yes. So I'm just going to quickly highlight and I guess bring to life a few examples of the work that's happening already with Time for Change. So I'm just going to read 2 stories that the workers put forward. Both of these referrals were actually through Ottawa Police. One young man the team is working with was referred when he was recovering in the hospital after a serious gunshot wound. He spent months in rehab during that time, and Time for Change supported him and his mom with implementing a plan that supports a significant brain injury that he had incurred, potential options for housing that would best meet their needs upon release, as well as exploring the family dynamics and the stress that appeared to cause. Interestingly, John Howard had worked with this family before, so they were very comfortable in accepting services. He has since been released and is living back at home with Mom, and they're set to begin family counseling as well as looking for options for employment for the young gentleman. His brother has also been assigned to another caseworker with this team to receive individual support so that the whole family unit can be in a better position to succeed. And another case that was referred to Time for Change, this individual had serious safety issues. He had been shot at multiple times. Thankfully, he was not injured. Despite his ongoing safety risk, he did not want to leave the city. He wanted to remain in the city of Ottawa to be close with his family and his children in particular. He's been working towards making positive changes in his life by applying for post-secondary education to be in a better position to support his family. Due to the challenges in obtaining his immigration paperwork, this goal was at a standstill until he received support from Time for Change caseworker in navigating all the paperwork and systems involved. So he's waiting to receive his citizenship papers, and then he is going to apply. to Algonquin College. And just to highlight one other piece, like I mentioned, the workers go into OCDC after individuals have been arrested and incarcerated. They go in sight unseen and basically cold call and do an offer of service, so the individuals don't know that the workers are going in until they arrive, basically. One of the individuals said, he asked the worker, do you know why are you here? And the worker explained why he was here, and he said, well, do you know what I've done? The worker said, well, I read the paper, so I understand what you've been charged with. And he said, quite seriously, and you still want to help me. So I just wanted to leave with that I think in a lot of cases it is about creating hope when, for some of these individuals, hope is lost, and that can be pretty significant. And so I want to thank the Mayor for this investment, and thank you for listening to the presentation. Any questions?
Mr. Chair, if you just allow me 2 seconds to have a say in terms of as the Executive Director of, or not Executive, sorry, Chair of the Crime Prevention Ottawa Board. This is a partnership that is being formed not only with Crime Prevention Ottawa, but obviously with the OPS and John Howard Society in CISO. So it's a partnership that is a key to success of this program. And the ultimate goal for all our partners is basically to make the community safer in any way we can, including the issue that we're currently facing about the guns and gangs. In partnership, we're working proactively to solve some of the concerns that have been raised in the community. And as a Chair of Crime Prevention Ottawa, that is our main role at CPO, to work with our partners. And I want to thank the Ottawa Police Service for being a very good partner, a really strong partner for us, along with John Howard Society and CISO. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And as the delegation mentioned, we're open for questions.
Well, thank you, Chair Cadley, for your leadership in this organization. We do have a couple of questions. I start with my colleague, Councillor Jan Harder.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to everyone for presenting. I'm just wondering, the $300,000, has that all been eaten up now? Is it, I don't seem to recollect that it's $300,000 a year, is it? Or is it?
Yes, the $300,000 was added to the base budget, and so it's an ongoing service for the term of council. That's our understanding.
That's great. And so the 25 individuals that have been flagged, how does that relate to the money, so that we can actually have an idea of, you know, what the cost is, as opposed to the number of people you can help?
The way that the contract works is that it's an annualized contract with targets within the contract. So because we started mid-year, it is running into this year, and the target number, as was discussed last year, was 30 clients per year.
And so has the budget for 2016 been used up yet? Is it already earmarked, all of it?
It will be starting momentarily, yes.
But do you have your number of people that will take that amount of money, or is there room for more?
There's room for more, because that will be next year's.
Okay, so I would just like to, you know, as in my role as an elected person at the, we just recently, in fact, it's before us at council on Wednesday. I think it's a perfect fit for the Building Better Revitalized Neighborhoods. We're going with 3 neighborhoods instead of just one that we were looking for. And this is the kind of partnership, I think, that in particularly one of the locations would be a really good partner. My other question is, how do you, tell me a bit more about how you actually identify the people, because how many people are in the gangs do we estimate today in the city of Ottawa? Any idea?
Roughly about 400 people.
So about 400 people. So how do we recognize best the people that we think are going to have the best impact for the funding? And then you were talking about the family being involved as well. So I see, could you comment on that a bit more?
I think a lot of it has to do with the times when you could find an individual who's involved in a high-profile incident, such as Christine said,
a victim who's been shot, or somebody even on the other end of the spectrum once they were released from custody, somebody who was a perpetrator at the time. Now you might be able to get at them and give them that option to make a better choice.
So just one final thing, Mr. Chair. The Councillor Dean's, one of the areas that we've identified as Hetherington, Banff, Ledbury. And really the genesis for her wanting to include that community was the conversation she's had over the years with some of the mums in the community, mums of gang members, mums of children who are associated with gang members, and their cry out for help. Do you think as part of the move forward that would be an interesting community to undertake with special consideration, especially since this will be multi-departmental, citywide investment in 3 very much at-risk communities with a high degree of crime?
Not specific to Time for Change, but to your point about families and young people who are perhaps not fully entrenched in this life, but on the threshold. There has been provincial money that has come through the Ministry of Children and Youth Services earmarked for gang prevention and intervention. U-Turn Youth Support Services and the John Howard Society are partners in that initiative, and we'll be building off of a pilot project that we ran through the Ottawa Gang Strategy that was called Supporting Families Initiative, better known as Siblings at Risk, and so it was to specifically work with families of known gang members who had younger siblings in the home, so it was very much prevention-based. So we will be building off of that project with the new funds.
Thank you very much.
Actually, just to add to that, at OCISO we work across the city. We're not geographically bound, and especially in the south area now, we have just implemented programs for youth, especially newcomer youth that we work with. So prevention in terms of not necessarily gang, but all violence prevention, our programs are really designed to connect with newcomers who are low income and in marginalized communities and provide supports after school programs. So it will all fit into what we're doing with this project. Inform it with the parents, and we work closely with families in that area too. So we're very much interested in working citywide, but also connecting with the community and the moms particularly. So.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Turney.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, thank you, CPO and Shad and the entire group. This week we have my community leaders meeting. We're well over 20 major community leaders in our area. So I know your participation and some of the stuff I'm reading in here could be very beneficial. We've had a lot of great ideas, very similar to what's in here. So if we're able to bring that neighborhood cohesion together, like you mentioned in your slide, I think that would be important. I do have a question in regards to the MOU between the John Howard Society and OPS. And that component. How long has that been worked on at this point? Is this something new? Because when I hear legal has to review it, I'm afraid these things get lost in the weeds, and I see this as something very important, and the sooner we can do this, the better.
So the concept certainly has, I would say it's been sitting with legal now for approximately 6 months.
And what actively are we doing to pursue that? Is it a backlog? Is it a resource issue? Or they simply have to do study to be able to figure out if it can work?
And I don't want to speak on behalf of the Ottawa Police, but I can say that Inspector Renwick, who isn't with us tonight, has been actively working on supporting that. I know that the Privacy Commissioner has been consulted, but I certainly can't speak to the internal process beyond that.
Maybe the Chief can weigh in. Chief?
Yes, Mr. Chair. It is with legal services. They're just about to wrap it up. It is a very complex arrangement that we are dealing with a lot of privacy issues and matters that are of mutual concern on both sides of the equation. We do have a worker embedded from the Children's Aid Society, and that was a lengthy process as well to try to really make sure that that both parties are covered from especially with the types of files that we're dealing with at both sides. So we're certainly, it's not stopping the work from taking place. but we should be able to wrap up that MOU very shortly and have it signed off.
And Mr. Chair, if it's okay with you, maybe just as direction rather than moving a motion, this is very important. This actually plays very well to exactly what we're trying to do, especially in regards to Jasmine. This is actually exactly something that would be helpful. If there's a way to be able to, whether we do it through staff, where they come back and report next meeting on the progress, timelines, how close you're getting to actually finalizing this MOU, I see great importance in this, and I'd rather not wait too much longer. As a councillor, I've had things trapped in legal for years. Right, Jan? This is what happens. And if it requires yanking everybody into one room to settle it out, because I know there's several levers, I have no problem doing that. That's what we're doing with our leadership meeting this week, and that's what we've done in the past.
Yeah, I just want to point out that the work still goes on as far as identifying those individuals who are involved in gangs, to build relationships with the workers of John Howard, and trying to get them out of those gangs and providing them support. That work still continues. The piece around the MOU is to have actually a worker working alongside our Guns and Gangs unit, our DART unit, to work closer with those to identify other potential individuals. So reassure the board that the work goes on, and you have my reassurance that I'll be following up to see exactly where that MOU is.
Okay, great. I think I've expressed how important I feel this is, and by next board meeting, if we can have a response where we are, especially if it's legal holding it up, we're there to help you guys too. You let us know, we can deal with the lawyers.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Member Nicholson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and folks, thank you very much for coming here and doing this, my old colleagues here. Good work. I like this collaboration. This is the way forward for us as police. This is the way forward for us as community. I'm curious, Nancy, you said that 300 buys this much, but there's this much more. What would that look like for you? Is that what I heard? You need more. Is that what I thought I heard? In response to Councillor Harder's question.
Well, 300,000 realistically can buy a caseload of about 30 clients. To be able to deliver a highly intensive service, that's a realistic caseload with that amount of money. It would, if you look at the new housing strategy, for example, it's about the equivalent of the case management dollars in the Housing First model.
But I guess what I'm trying to get at, are there people who you think need this service, would benefit from it, would want it, that you don't have enough money to serve? You know, what's at the back of my mind is $134,000 to keep one prisoner in the federal system for a year, $74,000 to keep one in the provincial system for a year, and you have $300,000 to help keep them out?
Carl, you know me, I'm always happy to spend more money. But realistically, this is a wonderful start. This is a wonderful start, and we are so grateful to the mayor for taking this on, and we are certainly also hopeful that senior levels of government and the change of government will also be looking at their responsibilities in this as well.
Thank you. You're so delicate.
Okay, Councillor Kadri, Mr. Chair.
If I may add another comment to the question that's going on the table. There was also another piece to the funding. There's another $100,000 for employment opportunities that the mayor's office provided also. So the total package is $400,000. $300,000 of that is under the auspices of CPO, and the other $100,000 is with our social services department in the city to look for employment and so on and so forth. What we looked at from day one of working with the chief was to look at it a holistic approach from start to finish, and not just start at a piece of puzzle with one organization or one partner and say that's the piece we want to focus on. We want to focus on the whole entire issue. Having said that, I think we have two great partners at the table in terms of John Howard Society and CISO to do that. Coming back to Councillor Harder's question, really the funding in terms of the amount spent and not, although we've committed the full $300,000 to go out this year, what we have done is, working with our board, is said to the agencies, look, we're going to give you money forward in terms of installments, something that we worked out with our financial department in the city. And based on that, I guess there may be some requirement, and there will be, in terms of going forward on that money. So the money is all committed, I agree, but on the other side, we're dishing it out as some of the timelines are met or some of the targets are met. There is no concrete targets yet, but that's the premises for that money going forward.
Chief, to wrap up.
Mr. Chair, I'm very excited around the enthusiasm and the inquiries around the program. I remember when the exit strategy, when it was announced, was openly criticized as far as, well, is this the magic bullet that's going to solve everything? It's not the magic bullet. It's a slice of the larger picture of the gang strategy that we need as a community to really deal with young men that are getting themselves involved in gangs. At the prevention piece, identifying them early through the Siblings Project, while they're into gangs and helping them out of the gangs. This is part of that strategy, and I'm excited about the partnership that we've identified with CISO and John Howard and the Crime Prevention Ottawa, and I want to thank the members from the police service who are integrally involved in working with gang members. Our members of the gang unit and DART team and patrol officers and neighborhood officers have relationships with these gang members and victims, and they're also there to assist them in the supports that they need to get out of that lifestyle, but also to hold them accountable for what they're doing. So I want to thank the partners for coming to the table, and I'm excited to hear the stories that you're able to share as well as some of the successes. And I think if we can identify these members one at a time and get them out, we will have a long-term impact on keeping our community safer. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, and on behalf of the board, thank you, Chair Kadri, and every one of you for tonight's presentation. Thank you. Look forward to continue working with you folks. Thank you. And on the item, can we receive it? I guess as information. Thank you. And now item number 2. Before I go to item number 2, we held item number 9 because, number 9 on the accessibility plan report. The individual was here to speak, has left the meeting because the interpreter was not available. So can we receive this report? Do you have any question on it? Item number 9, the accessibility plan report 2015. The Ottawa Police.
Something about texting to 911.
I'm just asking, do we know the nature of his comments?
I'll get the executive director to respond.
I believe he wanted to make a comment about texting to 911. I believe it was a comment about texting to 911. He was a hearing impaired individual.
Hearing impaired individual need to.
Do we have any way of finding out who he was?
Mr. Chair,
Can we follow up then after the meeting with him?
Mr. Chair, we have the contact information, and staff will connect with the individual and answer the inquiry.
Thank you. And then let us know what it was, please.
Okay, so on item number 9, can we receive the report? Receive? Thank you. The Chief's verbal report, item number 2. Chief.
Mr. Chair, good evening. I usually try to focus my verbal reports on the excellent work of our members or crime trends. This evening, I want to focus on the difficult discussion our members have been having over the last week or two. Morale is a hard conversation in policing, and we know that morale is not where it needs to be. Our members should know that their concerns are being heard, that we know that they need to see more action, and that they be directly engaged in those solutions. I want to bring you back to the member survey we initiated in 2015. The feedback in the document was taken very seriously and has been guiding our work to improve morale and ensure members feel supported. The survey was clear that the tenure program and staffing have been major issues. There are also concerns about the pace of change of the service initiative and what the future of policing here in Ottawa will look like. But there's more to it. Our service has a high confidence rating from the public. This is because of the work that happens at the front line every day. But even in the midst of that public support, there's also a feeling amongst officers from front line to senior ranks that they do their jobs with someone always looking over their shoulder. The job of a frontline constable has unquestionably changed from when I or any senior officer was on patrol. There's more oversight from supervisors, senior officers, the executive, the board, SIU, and the OIPRD. Add on to that social media, the daily traditional media coverage, and the concerns from the public. There is merit to effective oversight, and no one at the Ottawa Police wants to shy away from accountability. But there's also an impact on our members. It causes frustration. It leaves some feeling that regardless of the public confidence, the tools they need to do their job are being hemmed in, or taken away. I said earlier that morale is a difficult discussion, but there's also an opportunity for our service in this discussion. By remaining united, we will solve these issues together. I want to briefly discuss some of the issues we are already taking on. Staffing is a major issue, and we added 25 new hires into this year's budget. 50 more are called for 2017 and 2018. This is in addition to the regular replacement of all retirees. The tenure program has been canceled and is being replaced with a new sworn transfer policy. The work on this policy is being completed in partnership with the Ottawa Police Association. We have begun a wellness strategy with major investments in this year's budget. That investment includes peer support and resiliency coordinators, as well as a major increase in the Real You program. We're also trying to get a better understanding of the increase in accommodations for some members. We need to support those members, but also understand and deal with the staffing pressure accommodations are putting on our front line. Extensive consultations on the service initiative have been underway. Deputy Chief Keeley and Superintendent Mike Flanagan have initiated a patrol advisory committee, which is comprised of frontline constables. This will help ensure these officers have a voice in raising important issues and play a role in addressing them. But more needs to be done, and we will do it together. The Executive Command and all senior officers are united in our support of our membership and the work they do each and every day. The discussion became heated in the past few days, while I want the board to know that I recognize your commitment to our police service. I know you believe in and support the membership. The work you do is an integral part to our mission. I mentioned accountability in my remarks. All members of the service are accountable, and that includes me. Recently, there have been 2 accusations raised regarding my conduct. I have never misled the board, and I have in no way influenced the outcome of a ticket issued to my family member. There are clear processes in place to investigate the conduct of a chief of police in Ontario, and I have no concerns about them being followed. From constable to chief, the members of our service shoulder great responsibility in keeping the community safe. We need to focus inward to ensure that our members have the support they need. We have already begun that work, and all members, sworn as civilian, should know that we understand there is more work to do and that we are listening. We all join this service to keep our community safe. The focus of this police service remains, as it always has, on community safety by preventing crime, holding offenders accountable, and reducing victimizations. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chief, for those comments. If I can just take a moment, Chief. This is an issue that every member of this board cares about and takes very seriously. I have supported the members of the OPS since I started on this board. And that's why the emotion that were caused by a comment attributed to me in the media last week saddened me. Because I said it, and I said it time and time again, 99.9% of our members, they do a great job in our community day in and day out. And for that, we're grateful to have one of the safest cities in the country because of these men and women. I know there are a lot of pressure and frustration, we need to deal with to ensure that members are supported. As a board, we acknowledge that morale needs to be addressed, and we fully support the chief in the steps he's taken to do that following last year's member survey. We have made a decision to invest in staffing and willingness program. We have asked for review of tenures. The chief outlined other initiatives underway to address members' concern. I will close my remarks by reiterating that the chief and the member of the fine police service have the board's full support and confidence, and together we will address the concern about morale. As the chief stated, we need to work on it together. And with that, I'll open the floor to my colleague if any comment or question to the chief's verbal report. None? Okay, thank you very much, Chief, for your verbal report. On the Chief's verbal report, received? Received, thank you. And I have a motion from Member Smallwood to move in camera. So I would ask you, if you don't mind, to, first of all, our meeting adjourned, and we need a motion to move in camera, so moved by Member Smallwood. Thank you very much, folks, and have a good evening.